So, Bret Hart's been yapping a lot this week. Suppose he was on a I guess either a podcast or or some sort of fucking platform talking about how he's been the most influential wrestler in the last, like, I guess, quarter century. He didn't put a number on it necessarily, but basically saying that people are wrestling like him, not Hulk Hogan. And it got me thinking. Bret Hart is actually one of the most, I would say, expressive legends. Today that he has no bones with saying what he wants to say. He tells Hulk Hogan to fuck off. It's Hulk Hogan to fuck off. And it's gotten some mixed reviews and mixed feelings from people about Bret Hart. Either he's a cocky son of a bitch, or he's just a guy that's honest, and you kind of appreciate the authenticity of him. So I don't know. Some do, dude. Mike, some do. I'm just saying. So I just want to talk about Bret Hart in retirement now. Love it or hate it.
What do you mean?
Like the things he says, and how honest he is. He likes to just.
But that's not okay. Wait. Sharing your opinion on something that's mostly blowing up your own ego and filleting yourself in a way that I thought could not be done without removing at least 3 ribs is not, quote unquote, being honest. This isn't him out here. He's literally just blowing up his own ego. He's literally blowing smoke up his own ass.
The Denver Brock Lesnar's?
Nah.
It's the Denver Bronco Busters. It's X-Files.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I was ruminating for a while. But no, honestly, that's my thing with Bret Hart is if someone else said this exact same quote about Bret Hart, I feel like there's a conversation to be had. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I don't know, name somebody whose opinion half matters in pro wrestling. If Steve Austin said it, if Steve Austin was I don't think that Bret Hart, go for it.
Because you'll know. What about the Los Angeles Mantars? Since he looked like a ram.
Oh my God. Yes.
He had the gimmick that looked like a ram with the stupid ass horns on his head.
Oh God.
Sorry, continue.
Oh my God. Continue. So all I'm saying is if Steve Austin came out on his podcast,
Broken Skull Sessions on WWE now.
Right. And he said, I don't think Bret Hart gets enough credit for influencing an entire generation of pro wrestlers. Because after the year 1990, all these pro wrestlers today, all these guys in AEW, all these guys on WWE, all these wrestlers, they're not emulating Hulk Hogan. They're emulating Bret Hart. If Steve and Shawn Michaels, if Steve Austin came out and said that, I think I'd be okay, that's worth talking about. That's worth He's got a point. Maybe let's analyze it.
We can put that.
Is it because he said? Is it because Bret said it?
Yes.
Okay, so let me read a quote for our listeners.
Wait. Here's what's interesting to me too, though, right? Bret and Shawn have completely switched roles in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Because 1995 Bret Hart would have been so much more humble. Mm-hmm. And 1995 Shawn Michaels would have been I'm the fucking best wrestler on the planet. And 2021 Bret Hart is where's my credit? I'm the whole reason this all exists. Which, by the way, for the record, if we're gonna give anyone credit, it's like Dynamite Kid. Come on, you're actually going deeper into the fucking 80s. Yeah, I know the guy was a prick and nobody really likes him, but Dynamite Kid. The Dynamite Kid's half the reason why half the wrestlers wrestle the way they do. Brian Pillman is half the reason why half the wrestlers today wrestle the way they do. So
do you blame the Dynamite Kid for Chris Benoit doing the headbutt and then going fucking back?
Yes, I thought we've all blamed him for that for eons.
I think none of that would happen if you didn't buy a home gym.
So for our listeners, let me give them the big quote about the Hulk Hogan thing and whatnot, and this is what had a lot of ire of people. This is a quote he had here. Quote, I wrestling in a different direction, I think. We look back today, they don't wrestle like Hulk Hogan anymore. They wrestle like Bret Hart. Wrestling's all about action and speed and telling a story, and I think that's where I came in.
I know, I wish. Sorry, we're talking about the some more football gimmick.
They were
wrestlers.
brainstorming footballs.
Oh, no. So that's the quote that got everybody's ire and triggered everybody's.
But here's my point, right? When's the last time you saw a Shawn Michaels quote where Shawn Michaels was like, "I've influenced an entire generation of pro wrestlers"? And actually, of the two of them, Shawn Michaels has influenced a hell of a lot more of this generation of pro wrestlers. I mean, he literally trained Bryan Danielson. Like,
I have very valid points here.
Go for it. Number one.
How many times has Bret fucking Hart done a moonsault? How many times has he done a move off the top rope?
How many times has he jumped other than that elbow thing he does all the time, but second rope, right? Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is the kids that were watching Bret Hart in ring are now the same guys that are doing coffin drops off of 35-foot ladders.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same ones that are doing moonsaults and 630s and fucking shooting star presses. Moves that Bret Hart couldn't do if Goldberg didn't kick him in the head.
But you know who was doing those moves?
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh, so it's like, hey, maybe the guy who, you decided to, not be happy to drop the title to got his good karma for listening to his boss, screwing you over, watching you get your head kicked into about the 7th fucking row. And guess what? That's why you're bitter. Because Shawn got to stay and didn't have his career ended by Bill Goldberg. So, hey, now I need some kind of self-fucking gratitude and self-fucking reassurance that what I did was good for this and good for that. But hey, bud, let's not forget, you choosing to not drop the fucking title to Shawn, you could have been there.
I've always been on Vince's side in that argument. I've never once. Day one.
Here's an interesting one that I don't think anyone ever actually talks about as a what-if scenario.
Yeah.
Okay? Shawn Michaels leaves wrestling in 1998.
Right.
We don't think he's ever going to wrestle again.
Okay.
2002 comes back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Has a fantastic run.
Absolutely.
Like, arguably better than his original run in WWE, or at least as up there. It definitely, to me,
I don't know.
I couldn't go that far.
But then you have his feuds with Angle. You have his feud with Jericho.
In ring wise, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about in ring.
Yes.
In ring.
Yes.
100% in ring. Like, ignore the fucking stupid DX stuff and all that.
Okay.
And wasn't he
as a wrestler? Wait.
Real quick, go further though. Wasn't he a part-timer though, for the most part, from the second
No,
round?
he came back full-time. He was wrestling full-time.
Okay.
So, okay. If Bret Hart had somehow managed to do the same thing.
Okay.
Went out injured in 98. I think it also was 98. Like same year. That's crazy. I never actually thought about that before. Like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. It might have been 99.
With the Goldberg injury?
Yeah.
That's 2000.
2000. Okay. So a few more years later, but like similar timeline.
Right.
In a world where Bret Hart could have then come back 5 years later and had a run a la Shawn Michaels. So he's working all the time. He's wrestling all these classic matches, stuff like that. Do you think that that Bret Hart run would have compared to the Shawn Michaels run?
No.
And I agree. And that right there is the reason why Bret Hart can kind of fucking go sit on a fork and spin. Because taking credit for being the fucking best wrestler of a generation taking credit for being the best wrestler of a generation and the guy that created a whole new generation of wrestlers when he clearly didn't, when Shawn Michaels is the clear guy who kind of has inspired a lot of these guys. Like, I'm sorry. I'd even have more respect for Bret Hart if he was out there being like, yeah, Shawn and I. Like, yeah, our feud, our thing, blah, blah, blah. Like we set the pace. He's standing there being like, it's me. Nobody wrestled like this before me. This isn't true.
To be fair to Bret, though, he doesn't shit on Shawn, though, all the time. He shits on Hogan. He always
he shits on Hogan because Hogan was the competition for the longest time. And Hogan left WWE, and Hogan didn't fucking want to wrestle him.
But here's the thing.
He holds a level of resentment because Hogan would not drop the title to him at King of the Ring.
But can we also all be honest about something here? Hulk Hogan was not Bret Hart's competition. Because Hulk
Steve
Hogan,
Austin and Shawn Michaels were Bret Hart.
Right. Well, because what I'm saying is like in Bret, I think there's somewhere in Bret Hart's mind, Hulk Hogan was his competition.
Wasn't even close.
But it wasn't even close. Hulk Hogan was here. Bret Hart was here.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan left. They elevated Bret Hart because Hulk Hogan wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan being around, Bret Hart never gets to where Bret Hart got to. And the proof in that was in 1993 when they tried to get Bret Hart there because Hulk Hogan wasn't around. And Hulk Hogan showed back up for a week and a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden he was the world champion on a show where he wasn't scheduled to fight for the world title.
Yep.
Correct.
Like, that's the truth. There was no competition between Bret and Hulk.
And then he chose not to wrestle Bret.
Right.
And Bret holds a level of resentment for that.
And I understand that, and I wouldn't blame him if that's a forever thing.
See, I would though, because at the end of the day, like
oh shit.
What? I'm sorry, you got over fucking Vince and fucking Shawn basically screwing you out of the company.
True.
Dude, let's play devil's advocate here, okay? He agrees to lose to Shawn clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stays.
Yeah.
He doesn't get kicked in the head. He's at Over the Edge in Kansas City.
Yeah,
it tells Owen, don't fucking do it.
Right. No,
you still have Owen.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
No, you can't put that on Bret. You can't make that be on Bret's conscience because Bret did after what happened. I think nobody would have blamed Bret for leaving.
Right.
But if Bret sucks it up, loses to Shawn, stays, Owen never dies.
In theory.
No, because
Buddy, he would have talked Owen out of that.
But guys were doing those entrances.
But he would have talked Owen out of that.
Maybe.
No, he would 100% would have talked Owen out of that.
Let me ask you
because he would have he would have been the one that sat Owen down and been like, if this goes wrong, how are your kids going to fucking grow? Like nobody in WWE cared about that.
Wait, can we besides just that aspect of it, besides the what if, going back to the question here, the whole Bret Hart, did Bret Hart create a generation of wrestlers?
Fuck Bret Hart.
Wait. Owen Hart is more of an influence on a lot of these wrestlers than Bret Hart is.
Facts.
And a lot of them have said it for years. Because Owen could tell a story just like Bret can. But Owen also did the top rope stuff. Owen did the high flying. Owen worked all that into story.
Owen also went and worked in Japan.
Owen went and worked in Japan. Owen's the guy, and look, you could see it this past week on Dynamite when they showed those videos for the Owen Hart Foundation Cup that they're doing. A lot of this generation of wrestlers, the guys in AEW, the guys in NXT, the guys who are even guys like Kevin Owens and stuff like that, Kevin Owens, the man, he named his son after Owen Hart, which is then where he gets his ring name from. Come on, I just realized that as I was saying it, but it's the truth. This whole generation of wrestlers, if there's a wrestler who they're all influenced by, and we don't want to give
Shawn Michaels,
and that isn't Shawn Michaels,
it's Owen.
It's Owen. It's Owen Hart, 100%. 100% Owen.
I feel I definitely agree with what you're saying there. And I know in previous documentaries in the last 10 years, Bret has said he's let go of the resentment, the bag of rocks and all that. But I feel like you hear these quotes though, it's like, did you really drop the resentment? Because it's still there, dude. I still get that. Look, and I think the thing with Hogan more so is the fact that he was told, he said apparently that he was promised by Hogan to do a match to pull him up. That was the argument. Again, there's a lot of shit you can shit on Hogan for, of course.
Yeah, Shawn also said that he didn't know that they were going to screw him over in Montreal.
Yeah, right. But my point is, Bret, there's a lot of resentment there. So I don't want to go to the far length of saying fuck Bret Hart, this and that. But at the same time, because he is still one of the, no, I get it, but he still is one of the 10 greatest guys in WWE history. That's still, we can still acknowledge his great work while still saying fucking asshole probably.
Yeah, I don't know he's in my top 10.
Top 20.
Are you saying it because you just don't like the guy? Or is this
I think he was fucking more vanilla than fucking vanilla ice cream in the ring at points.
Yeah.
His storylines. What were his storylines? I'm anti-American. I'm Canadian. I'm part of the Hart Foundation. Look at me. I'm Bret Hart. I'm a sharpshooter. I worked in my fucking dad's dungeon. The fuck was his fucking...
His 97. See, if the 97 doesn't happen, the heel turn and then the how that all went about, He's not my top 10.
He was probably the biggest fucking crybaby on
course.
fucking all of television during his quote heel run. It was fucking so painful to watch him being a heel.
Of course. I think the 97 run is why I put him in my top 10. If you took away his 97 run, I'm not sure if I put him in my top 10 myself.
And I feel like Bret's not a guy who could have a great match with any wrestler. He needed the right dance partner. He needed someone who could have a great match. Like Shawn Michaels could go out there and have a great match with anybody.
Oh yeah. Oh no, but Shawn Michaels is tippy top all time. Greatest.
Right, but I'm saying, but like Bret Hart, like okay, look at the Bret Hart Undertaker matches and look at the Shawn Michaels Undertaker matches. Tell me which ones are better.
Shawn blows him out of the water.
Right, close. I mean, my all-time favorite match of all time is HBK Taker. Not from Mania, either Manias, but from Hell in a Cell 97.
Yeah. That's valid. It's a great match.
My personal favorite.
That's a classic. It's probably a top 5 WWE match of all time.
I look at it from this standpoint, and this is how I feel about Bret. He was a mediocre promo at best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, question.
His in-ring work was above average for the time frame that he was in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't a lot of technical guys back then.
Him and Mr. Perfect were the only two real technical guys. In a land full of giants, he was the midget that just kept getting beat around the bush and then finally got his title run and this, that, and the other.
Right.
His greatest thing that he did was get fucking Stone Cold over more with the WrestleMania match.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal, though.
Sure, but it was because of Austin. It was because of Ken Shamrock. There were other pieces in that puzzle that made sense. He didn't go out there on a fucking Sunday night and go, you know what, I'm getting this guy over.
Right.
Because there were plenty of other guys that he had that opportunity with that he didn't succeed with. He's a guy who, sure, can I put him on I'll lock him into my top 20 in WWE history.
Same.
Slam dunk, no questions asked.
Same.
Hell, I could probably even find a way to put him in my top 15 without really trying.
For a question, for top.
Not in my top 10, nowhere near my top 5.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, his brother had a bigger fucking influence on this part of professional wrestling because of Owen's ability to do multiple things, telling a story, working different styles. He could wrestle a mat game one night, he could go to the air the next night. You never knew which Owen Hart match you were getting when he was in the ring.
Yep.
At the end of the day, Owen did more for the guys that are wrestling right now. And it's not a knock on Bret from an in-ring perspective because he was a great tactician. His moveset was always clean. There was very little mess-ups when Bret was in the ring. But there aren't guys that are wrestling that style that often anymore.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, I'm sorry, he's not. For someone to come out and toot his own horn like that, that would be like Derek Jeter walking up and being like, you know what? We won all of those World Series when I was a Yankee because I was the shortstop.
Yep.
It wasn't that they went and signed the best pitching. It wasn't the fact that George Steinbrenner went and signed guys. It wasn't the fact that they developed guys. It wasn't the fact that their general manager made trades. It's because I was the shortstop of that team. That's the only reason why they won. Now, you saying that, or Craig saying that, or fucking somebody on MLB.com saying that, okay, that's a debate point. You know, if Derek Jeter wasn't the shortstop there, would those teams have won world championships? That's a debate that you can have, sure.
Yeah.
But Derek Jeter saying it, you're looking at him going, buddy, don't you have a fucking Miami Marlins team you need to focus on trying to rebuild? Like,
right.
Why are you?
Also, fuck the Yankees. But yeah, go ahead.
But okay, this is coming from the biggest Red Sox fan, and I'm using that as a standpoint because that's the example that needs to be used here. This man has come out and basically said, without me, there would not be professional wrestling.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yep.
You're not even close to being right.
Nope.